Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This video today is going to be a requested video that one of my subscribers asked me to do, and it is in regards to the stained glass coloring books, those kind of pages, because as you know, it's got different paper. So what they asked me to do is to go through what I think would be good mediums to use to color those in. So I have some pages that I'm going to show you guys and just talk about what I've used on them and to give you my thoughts on it, to tell you how I think it looked and all that good stuff. So what I use on my pages mostly are colored pencils. I do have a couple of marker sets, but I always just kind of gravitate to my colored pencils because that is my favorite medium to use. So we're going to look at the different colored pencil sets and how they react on the different paper, plus some other things that I've used on them besides colored pencils, and just give you my thoughts and stuff on it. So what I have colored in mostly as far as stained glass goes are these little stained glass pages from the little stained glass coloring books that I have showed you guys. And this is the journal that I have them in. This is a journal from Paper Blanks, and it is the Blue Maya Filigree, very, very large journal. This is a huge journal. So what I do is I take the small little coloring books apart, and let me just kind of give you a clue as to what I do. Now, mostly what I'm gonna, well, pretty much I think all that I'm gonna show you guys are the pages from this book here called Little Mandalas. So what I did was these pages are stapled together, but I took them apart. I went through and I took out the staple and took the pages apart. And so then I can color the pages and put them into this journal. And then I keep the book in here. It looks like I have just one more to color. So anyway, as I said, these pages that I'm going to show you are from that coloring book that I've just taken apart. I think there are like 8 or 9 different designs in it. So let me just show you what I've got here and just kind of talk about the things that I've done. Now, if you've watched my completed coloring pages, you're going to see these pictures. So this is going to be a little bit of a repeat, but I'm going to go into depth and actually talk about what I've used on each one and give you my opinion and so forth. So now this will be very similar to if you were going to color one of the full-size stained glass pages, because the paper is very similar. It's pretty much the same thing. It's that real thin vellum paper that is transparent where the design is. So if you were going to do the full-size one as well as one of the small ones, you're going to get similar results, I think. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started into this. Enough jibber-jabbering here. This page here is from this one here is from the Artist Choice Colored Pencils. This one up here is from the Derwent Color Soft Pencils. And let me just give you my opinion on this. Now the Artist Choice Pencils, now what I will do is I will find the video where I showed you the different things that I use to color in my books with, and I'll link that in the description. That way you can actually see the different sets that I'm talking about and know what they look like and all that, because I don't have them in here with me right now. I just brought the journal here, so I will just give you you can just refer to that video to actually see what that pencil set looks like. So anyway, this Artist Choice pencil is a very inexpensive set that I got from Amazon, and it had it's got was it 120 pencils in it, I think, and it does have a watercolor pencil counterpart which has 72 pencils in it. So I just used the regular Artist Choice colored pencil, not to be confused with Artist Loft, I guess, for Michaels. This is called Artist Choice, and they're very inexpensive. They're not great, but if you're just on a very tight budget, they're very inexpensive and they will get the job done. Just know that you're not going to get the color payoff. It's not very pigmented. It takes a little bit to blend. You can work with it, but you're going to have to push hard. You're going to have to put several layers on it, and your hand is going to be hurting after a while, especially if you have issues like carpal tunnel or arthritis or tendonitis and that kind of thing. So these, now my recommendation, just to kind of give you guys a little clue, my recommendation is if you're going to color on these, I would pick something that is going to have a good color pop on them. You have the black bordering, the black background, and you can put them up in your window. They are single-sided, so you don't have to worry about bleed through with markers and stuff. Just if you're coloring it in the book, just put a piece of white paper underneath it to protect your next design. Because as I said, this paper is very thin. It will bleed through on something else. So just make sure that you protect your next image. But as I said, you want to have, in my opinion, you want to have something that's going to have a good color payout, good pigmentation to make it really pop. So as you can see, in my opinion, I think this looks really drab. The pencils go down okay on it. I've not really had any trouble with any of my colored pencil sets taking to the paper. It's pretty smooth paper, but it just seems like they did go ahead and take. You can blend with them and stuff. But as I said, with these pencils here, this Artist Choice, the pigmentation just is not very vibrant. The colors aren't very vibrant at all. You don't get that color payoff. It doesn't really pop very much. It's very muted, very washed out looking, if you ask me. So I really wouldn't recommend these pencils for this kind of paper unless you have to use something like that. If you're on a very tight budget, then that will get the job done. You'll be able to do it. But in my opinion, if you can spring for something higher quality, I would do it. So that is the Artist Choice pencils, in my opinion, about that. Here is, up here, I believe I use the, yes, I use the Color Soft from Derwent. These are nice pencils. I really like those pencils. They blend very nicely. And I think, like, if you look on a lot of the coloring videos, I kind of think they slide under the radar, but they are very nice pencils. They're not to the caliber of Faber-Castell Polychromos. I would say they're maybe just a little bit under in quality to Prismacolors, just because I think Prismacolors blend so nicely, you know, they shade nicely, they're soft and creamy and buttery. But there are some problems with Prismacolors that people have pointed out on different videos and stuff. But these Color Soft pencils are very nice. They do blend well together, in my opinion. Some people have, I guess, have had a hard time with them. But I tend to just kind of do a light layer and then just build up the color. And they're easier to blend if you do it that way. I am no artist or anything, so I am no expert on shading or blending or any kind of like colored pencil technique. I'm just telling you what I found that kind of works for me. So I think if you do a light layer and just build up on it, I think it will work a lot better. These aren't, as I said, as soft as Prismacolors, but they're very, very nice to work with. They go down on the paper very nicely, and they have a really nice color payout. It pops very nicely on these pages. I had no problems whatsoever with this. Now up here, I use the Derwent inktense. And as you can tell, now inktense are from Derwent, as I said, and those are water-activated pencils where when you put the water down and when it dries into a permanent ink. So it's a little different than watercolor pencils, but it activates the same way with water. But because these pages are super thin and so forth, you know, very delicate, it does not handle very much water very well. So as you can tell, there's a lot of buckling and crinkling up here. There's creases. And I really didn't use that much water on this. I was pretty careful with the water, but even the water that I did use, you still got that buckling and crinkling a little bit. So just know that on these stained glass pages, ooh, excuse me. Oh, I'm belching chicken salad. I just had a chicken salad sandwich a little earlier, and it's wanting to talk to me just a little bit. I get like awful like heartburn and reflux and stuff, and sometimes my my lunch or my dinner likes to speak to me. All right, TMI. Yeah. Anyway, back to this. So just know that if you put water on this kind of thing, this is not the paper to actually do that with. It doesn't really handle it very well. But if you like crinkly paper and if you don't mind it, then go ahead and do that. It does add a really, really nice color pop to it. The pencils themselves kind of go down like really grainy. They're grainy when you put them down. There's a little bit of a fallout, but boy, once you activate it with water, oh my gosh, it is gorgeous. I really love these pencils, and I have the whole 72 set of this line, and I am so glad I got them. I'd wanted them babies for a long time, and I got them I think last July, and I love them. I really love them. And if you use them on good paper, boy, you can't beat them. You really can't. But they do give very nice pigmentation. You have very nice color pop. It really makes these stained glass pictures stand out very, very well. This one down here is Prismacolors, and I hit my tripod. I am sorry about that. Just make sure everything is in frame. This is Prismacolors down here. And what can I say about Prismacolors? Well, we all know about Prismacolors. They're very soft, very creamy, very buttery. They blend beautifully. But there are some quality control issues that people have talked about on their videos with the cores not centering up right and the casing not being bonded to the core. So they're very fragile. If you drop them, you're going to break the inside of the core probably. So I always treat my Prismacolors with kid gloves. I'm very gentle with them, and I've not had any problems with them. Just the cores are going to be you're going to be sharpening them quite a bit because the cores are very soft. But as you can see, they are very vibrant. It gives beautiful color payoff. It blends gorgeously, and it looks really, really nice on this paper. It took to the paper very well. Again, I just started with light layers and just built it up, and I was able to blend it very nicely. Now with Prismacolors, sometimes, you know, because they are so soft and crumbly and there's a bit of fallout with them just a little bit, it can tend to bleed through on your next page, like when you close your book. So you can always spray a fixative on there. I did not do this for this picture. It seems to be okay. I've not had any issue with it bleeding onto this over here. So far so good. I've not had any trouble with it, but it gives a really, really nice pop. The color payoff is really gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, so on to the next page. Let's just see what we have. This is Faber-Castell Polychromos, and well, there's really not too much to say about them except they're my favorite colored pencil so far. I've not messed with any kind of Caran d'Ache color pencil. I don't have the Pablos and I don't have the Luminance. So out of all the colored pencils that I do have and have experience with, Faber-Castell is my favorite. They too give a really nice color pop. I think that the Prismacolors are a little brighter. As you can see, I think the Prismacolors in comparison, they're a little brighter, but still, these have great pigmentation. It took to the paper very well. Again, I just used light layers and just built up the color. It blended very well. It put down on the paper very nicely. It looks really nice. You get that nice pop. So I would recommend using it on Faber-Castells on this paper. It works very well. I was actually very surprised at how well colored pencil actually worked on this paper. At least for me it did. I don't have any problems with it whatsoever, except for the cheap, you know, the cheap unpigmented ones. Now, I've not used any Crayola on this, but I'm guessing that the Crayola will probably act pretty similarly on this paper to how it does on other paper. Most of my pencils did. Now down here is one that I did not use colored pencil on. This is a marker set called Seriously Fine from International Arrivals. And if you watched my video where I showed my Create 360 storage bag that I purposed for my coloring implements and stuff, that video is on my channel. You can take a look at that. And so I showed, I picked out a couple of those markers and I showed what they looked like. I don't have them in here with me right now. I will show them in detail probably in another video if you want me to. But I did pick out a couple of them out of my Ipsy bag that I have them in right now to show what those look like. They came in a pack of 36 markers, and they were on Amazon for I think about $8, so very affordable. If you want a marker set that's gonna color pretty nicely, you can get those. I'm still really not sure exactly how I feel about them. They're water-based marker, but as you can see, there's some streakiness to them, and I guess that's what you're gonna get with a lot of markers. I don't know, I think I'm better with colored pencils than I am with markers. Colored pencils is usually what I gravitate to, so I very rarely pick up my markers because I do enjoy doing all the shading and the blending and stuff. But yeah, these markers, I wouldn't recommend using them on real cheap paper, because in one of my videos, I remember when I showed my completed pages, I was talking about how it was just tearing up the fibers of the paper. It was real cheap paper, but this, it worked okay on. This is smooth paper, and the marker, I ended up having to put like 2 or 3 coats on it for it to show up as vibrantly as it did. So I think those kind of markers, like they're picky about what kind of paper they like, and I don't think that they're the best to use on this kind of paper because you do have to lay it down pretty thickly to get it to show up, and then you get the streaky part. But I mean, it does pop. You do get some really good color payout. It will pop. It's just you got to work with it a little bit. This last picture up here was done with the Marco Raffine colored pencils. Now, I have the 48 count. I know that there's a 72 count, but I don't have that. Those pencils are pretty decent. A lot of people like them, I know. They're pretty affordable. I think they're a lot better than these Artist Choice ones over here. You get some decent color payout. They blend okay. I think some of the colors blend a little easier than others, but they're okay. You know, they're a decent pencil. I don't mind them at all, and those are ones that I would feel comfortable traveling with. They're pretty sturdy. You don't have to sharpen them constantly. They hold up pretty well, and you can actually get some vibrancy. You got to work with it a little bit more, though. As I said, I think some colors blend a lot better than others do, so you got to work with it and press down a little bit. But it's not bad. I can't say that it's all that bad. I haven't really had any problems with them. It's just, you know, when you're talking to somebody that's so used to Prismacolors and Faber-Castell Polychromos, nothing can really compare. But these will get the job done, and they're very inexpensive. So if you want something a little better than, say, Crayola, or, well, I don't know. I think some people like Crayola better than the Marcos, and some people like the Marcos better than the Crayolas. But if you're looking for something pretty affordable that does a pretty decent job, these Marcos are very nice for that. And I think that's all the pages that I have in this right now. That's all of the pictures that I have in this right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this was helpful. As I said, I was really surprised at how well Colored Pencil did on this kind of paper. It does very nicely. Just if you're going to hang them up in your window, you might want to worry about the light fastness a little bit. And for real light fast colored pencils, you're going to end up wanting to get artist grade ones, because those are the ones that are more light fast. Otherwise, they're going to fade if you have them sitting up in your window like that, exposed to light. But I keep these in my journal, and so far it's done pretty well. But anyway, as I said, I hope this was helpful. I hope this kind of gave you guys a clue as to what you can use in the stained glass pages, and what they're capable of doing, and how your mediums will react with it. You could use watercolors on them, but again, just keep in mind that it will crinkle the pages, as you saw with the Inktense. So I would recommend dry mediums on these. And as I said, colored pencils do very nicely on there. If you have a set of markers that you really like, that you want to put on there, more power to you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment and put a like on the video, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. What are you waiting for? And hit that bell. You'll be notified when I upload new material. So you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you all later. Bye guys.